All right. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Morning Masters Podcast, your host, main of course. Back with another episode of Thinking Out Loud, man. First and foremost, I want to thank all the supporters, the listeners. Without you guys, I'd be nowhere. It was very hard to stay away from doing Thinking Out Loud and doing some episodes, but outside of what I do here, man, I'm on a mission, um, which is kind of in part what I want to talk about. I'm on a mission that I quote unquote didn't necessarily sign up for, right? But however, it's what's in front of me and my actions, things I'm doing, things I've requested, things I've been granted, is telling me that um, even though I didn't sign up for it, I kind of signed up for it. So shout out to me, and so far it's doing so good. So we'll see where that road leads me, but yeah, so I've been super busy. Ain't really have time to record as much. It was either come and do Thinking Out Loud or spend time with my kids. So of course I chose my kids. Never going to neglect the podcast though. Also didn't want to put out. I'm a firm believer in quality over quantity. I didn't want to put out something just because that's the day I put it out. I want to put out high quality content before I put out some BS, or if I know it's BS and I still put it out. Before I do that, I'll find an old episode, find a gem in there somewhere, post a snippet, and just push that episode. The dopest thing about me doing my thinking out loud and how I do it, at least for me, y'all might think differently, but how I go about doing my thinking out loud is that it's timeless most for the most part, and the replay value is super high. So I find another snippet or a snippet I didn't use, and I put that out, and that y'all get that. Because granted, you know, people watch, and I know they listen and they love the content, but it's misses in them sometimes. Sometimes I throw a lot of gems, or sometimes not even me. It's a lot of gems, hidden gems in the episodes that I do, or I might didn't highlight something. But when I do episodes, though, I make about 5 to 10 clips within the episode. So me not being able to put out well, me finding a clip is not hard because I don't put out every single clip that I clip up. Sometimes I just save them. Sometimes because I'm busy, I forget. Sometimes I feel like the timing is off. It's not that day, or I moved on to another episode, and then I forgot about the clip. So yeah, before I ever overload y'all with some BS material, I'll just use the high quality material that I've been using or been doing for the past X amount of years. So shout out to y'all for being patient. Nobody hit me up and asking nothing crazy or asking if I stopped. And the thing is, I could post clips and I can make it like I never stop if you don't have the YouTube. I can make it like I never stop because I post a clip every day for the next year and some change, maybe 2 years. I can post a clip every day and not shoot a single new episode. That's how much. That's how much I got. I'm getting messages on here, man. I gotta turn that off, man. I'll turn that off. Anyway, so I was unsure. All right, I was unsure of where I actually wanted to start um, this thinking out loud, and I think I know where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start off on the meat and potatoes instead. Just because I haven't put an episode on it in a minute. So, man, I'm not one to beat a dead horse, but like I said, I haven't recorded all week, and I wanted to record about the John Morant situation. Not him. Not me. Sorry. Not. Yeah, I can't really distinguish it. I wanted to talk about it, and because I watched for days and days and days, people talk about it. People have their opinion on it. People, bash them. People, uh, oddly enough, praise them or whatever. It was a lot of up and downs, man. One thing I say about this, man, if you're in this field, like in the field that I'm in, which is just media, personality, or you got a voice on social media, or you got a voice, you got to be really consistent in your message. Really consistent in your message. I saw a lot of things like, he didn't break the law. It'll be fine. Leave him alone. Uh, I seen a lot of things like kind of try to downplay the situation, which I'll break down in a second, but just trying to downplay the situation. And I'm not comparing John Morant to this particular person, but I want to compare people's opinions on and stances on things in relation to the totality of of situations. So take Ja out of it and take this next person out of it. And it's just a simple thought I had. Maybe way left field. I'm okay with somebody saying, "Man, that makes no sense. I don't see the correlation." And that's cool. I see it. That's all that matters, right? Uh, people said that he didn't break any laws. It's fine. All I seen was this, that, whatever. An excuse. Cool. I'm cool with that because we're gonna get into that in a second. And I remember a couple weeks or maybe 2 months ago. I don't know. I lost track of time. 2 months ago, there was this post. The guy I do not know, but I know he went live and tried to explain it because he got beat up, bashed, or whatever online, and it says something like to the effect of, "Yo, got a new batch of 18-year-olds or some new batch of freshmen coming out." I don't know, something like that. I don't know. I say I like to say this: somebody saying that isn't breaking a law. 18 is legal. It's not breaking the law, but it's we still look at it a certain way. We still hold people accountable for the things they say. You 40 years old and you hunting down 18-year-old women is crazy. You know what that says, what that represents, how that looks. And nobody said, "Hey, look, he's not breaking the law. It's fine. He's just having fun." Like, no, they was on his ass. And I'm only saying, I'm not comparing Ja to this person at all, but I wanted to make that distinction with people and their stances on things. So you can't in one breath tell me somebody didn't break the law, so it's fine. Then in the next breath, somebody who also isn't breaking the law, it's not fine because they're saying this and it represents that, because people actions represent a lot of things. I could say a lot of things that video or Ja's actions is representing right now. So that's my take on that. I don't want to go too deep yet, because people like to tear apart the stuff you're saying, make them put words in your mouth. I'm not. I ain't into all that. All I'm saying is we got to be consistent in our opinions and our stances on things because of things like that. Now, mind you, I think the person that said that is very wild and then discussing to hunt down college freshmen or just senior high school seniors, whatever. That's nasty. It's disgusting. Do not agree with it at all. However, it is not illegal, right? But I'm not gonna turn a blind eye to it. Like I was seeing people say they should do with John Morant. So anyway, the John Morant situation. I want to read my Facebook post. That's a good way to start. I want to read my Facebook post really quickly. Okay, I just had it too. Look at me, silly ass. All right, here we go. So I said, the thoughts and views on John Morant from ESPN to the timeline be so night and day. Night and day just means that it's different. Like night and day is different. I know already. All right, cool. You just never can assume somebody knows. But I'm realizing a lot of people ain't never really had a lot at stake and had to watch how you moved. You just did whatever, and whatever happens, happens. Ain't nothing wrong with that either, though, right? That was all I posted, man. That's I promise. I wasn't really trying to get into the whole John Morant thing. Like, what happens to him happens to him. I wish him the best. I'm a fan of him as a basketball player. Fan of him as a young man. People make mistakes. Uh, but I thought the views and the thoughts on his situation uh, were very inconsistent down my timeline with other views and thoughts of other things, which is fine. But I also thought it was inconsistent with views and thoughts of ESPN, just the sports. I ain't gonna say ESPN as an entity, but just sports. FS1 Sports, whatever. Skip, Shannon, JJ Redick, uh, uh, um, all the sports people. Um, and what I'll say is this: I don't feel like I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna start it here. I don't feel like he needs to get suspended for a whole season or half a season. I don't think he needs to get no crazy uh, punishment. I don't think that he needs to get no crazy fine. I don't think he needs to uh, what they said, drop the hammer. I don't think we should drop the hammer on him. Yes, he didn't necessarily do a crime, um, but I did feel this way though when I saw the video and just my thoughts and things of this. I think that you gotta look at it this way, man. Like somebody is representing you represent stuff sometimes, whether you like it or not. Right now, if you're watching this and you're young and you're black and you're successful at something, you represent young, black, and successful. That's what you represent. He represents that, but he also is on a higher spectrum than the average person. He doesn't. It's not a job; it's a career. He's making a lot of money. He's signing these big, big, big times deals. Um, he's in the news. He's in the media. He's on Sports Center all the time. Like he's a big deal in a very, very lucrative, big business. So you take that for what it's worth when you think about representation and what that looks like. For the people that's paying you. I want to read some of these comments real quick, man. It says, some folks know that they have a lot at stake and feel like it's not worth changing slash being fake. And shout out to her for that post because that's true, very true. Um, my comments to that were, I don't know if that's his story, but if it is, that's selfish. But it's his life at the same time. I wish the best for all parties involved, meaning him, people who got a punishment, punish him, who thinking about punishing him, his family, just everybody who's affected by that, right? But yeah, I think in that earlier when I was talking about, just with me, not comparing myself to John Morant once again, just with me. Uh, Sometimes in life you don't get to choose whether or not you know you, what you want to be for what's at stake. Sometimes with whatever's at stake, and you hold whether it's your actions or the things you do, the things you say, hold key to the like to those things being in motion. You got to do what you got to do. You can't be selfish. Just not wanting to conform or to be away because that's not how I am. Is super wild. I don't know his life story. I don't know a lot of people's life story, right? But for me, just I'm thinking about just when you come up in a neighborhood or having them hoop dreams and you finally attain those. Don't know what that feels like. I know more about the people who wanted to have hoop dreams, who were 110% dedicated, who took all the steps to put themselves in the right position to be in the league, and then what weren't successful, right? And you think about how those people turned out or how they move or how they live, how they live their life. And sometimes with regret, even giving that 100 and some percent, and like, I should have did this, should made that move, should have made that move. And then you look at somebody who has that chance, like they made it over that hump that most can't. They got drafted, they made it big time in the league, been successful in the league. Uh, I'm looking at the choices he's making and decisions he's making. It's like, damn, you represent, you know, a whole bunch of things. Forget being young, black, and successful. You represent for all the players who had hoop dreams, and you made it. You made it. Like you actually made it. And not only are you making it, you're super successful in that process as well. So you gotta look at what you represent. And to me, I just feel like it's selfish to know if to know what you represent, to know that you know you got a lot at stake when you think about being a breadwinner for a family, putting your family in a better situation, taking your family and loved ones out of these bad situations, being able to help a community, being able to be a role model, even if you didn't ask for it, being able to be a role model for up and coming kids. 'Cause like I said, now you represent something. You don't get to choose what you represent. You don't get to choose that. You don't get to choose that. Like you represent people who weren't scouted heavy in high school, who went to a not super known college. who showed out, who also went to the league and then showed out again and say, I belong here. You represent so many things. I ain't even talking about the fact that, you're a son, you're a young black father, you're somebody's brother, you're somebody's teammate, you're somebody wrote. I ain't even talk about all that stuff. I'm just talking about just I'm kind of barely scratching the surface on things that this man represents. So I want to get into some more deeper things when somebody said, you know, um, John Morant was pinned as the face of the NBA going into the next era. That's the only reason that this is so huge. But maybe, just maybe, Ja doesn't want to be the NBA poster boy. Did anyone think of that? I can be honest with you. Shout out to my guy Devon. Shout out to him. Dope individual. I do him on a podcast, so shout out to him. And we normally agree on things too. Uh, so when he said, "Did anyone ever think of that?" I'm gonna tell you right now, no. I never thought of that. My reason being is because the deals he's signing, his behavior on the court, his stats, his interview, the things he says in his interviews, all these actions, um, those tell me otherwise. Yes, he's gotten caught up with the gun and on live being a kid or being childish. He's still young, being childish, whatever the case may be. I'm not sitting here to reprimand him. My goal is not to tear him down. None of that, right? But the reality of it is, I never thought of the fact that he didn't want to be that because everything he does is showing me that he wants to be that. His bravado, the cockiness he has about himself, his competitive nature, um, how he handles himself in interviews. I'm fine in the West. That's saying things like that aren't telling me that you don't want to be the face of the NBA. It's telling me you got to take it over. I know that we like to be, basketball and rap or music is synonymous. No pun intended, because of Young Boy and all that Glock Morant, whatever. Uh, I know basketball and NBA is synonymous, and sports and music is synonymous a lot of times. So you look at somebody like Drake, it's like something happening in Drake, and somebody telling me Drake. I'm not comparing Ja to Drake per se, but just stick with me. Somebody saying, well, did you ever think that Drake doesn't want to be the number one in the rap game? No, not really. His lyrics tell me different. You know, the, it- how he moves is telling me different. Things he says in interviews telling me different. I'm coming for the throne is telling me different. Yeah, his stats is telling me different. He's selling records, most number ones, it's telling me different. So I never thought about John Morant not wanting to be the face of the NBA, but Devon is right in the sense of, yeah, it's only this huge because they they kind of, it's almost like they pushing for him to be the face of the NBA. Every once in a while, you get that. You get your Derrick Roses, you you get these younger guys that they Kawhi Leonard. You get these guys that they put in the forefront, and they want to kind of brand after, because that's what the NBA goes over. It's a brand, and he's a brand, whether he likes it or not. Once again, you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose. You're a brand. You sign these big deals. You think you sign these big deals, and you could just do whatever you want? That ain't how it works. That ain't how it goes. Uh, you sign these big deals because they're expecting you to move a certain way. They're expecting you to be great. And being great a lot of times entails more than just on the court. They want you to average a lot of points. They want you to win. They want you to still be marketable. Be marketable. Be marketable. So you gotta watch what you're doing when you being in order to be marketable. You're not. I'm giving you 500 million over the course of X amount of years, 200 million over the course of X amount of years. You think in my clause, or you think I'm thinking that, okay, well, listen, he's gonna be listening to Young Boy and have a gun by his face, even though he's a role model. He's this. No, come on, like let's be for real. Like that's not even you can't even, like nobody would. That's not good business. Nobody would do that. You sign these deals. You getting these lucrative deals for a reason, and you have to abide by those reasons, or abide by um what you feel as though uh it- they want to see, and which is why when these situations happen, you have things happen like somebody pulling. from we're gonna pull our sponsorship. You lost that money now. We're gonna pull our sponsorship. You know why? You're not you're not marketable to them anymore. Just one mistake, you're not marketable to them anymore. Just one. Just one mistake. Not and like I said, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, you didn't break a law. You didn't do nothing crazy. But and my main thing, because I don't care about what he did, because I'm in agreement with whatever he did isn't the end of the world. It isn't nothing I haven't seen before next to me from an honor student or somebody who's a great kid or anything like that. I'm not judging that. It's not about that as as much as it's about the chance, as much as it's about what are you carrying on your shoulders, and is it important to you? Because if it is, then there's certain decisions and certain moves you don't make, which goes back to what I was saying. Sometimes people don't know what it feels like to have a lot at stake, to have a lot on your shoulders, to be the guy, the person. A lot of people in life aren't gonna be the star player. They aren't gonna be the main ingredient, the main dish, the entree. They aren't gonna be uh, anything, and there's nothing wrong with this. But some people are role players. Some people are uh, other. Like, and then I'm not being funny or trying to piss somebody off, but you know how sometimes you have to like they give you a list of things you could be, and then after they stop caring about if it's not these four things, it's other. Some people check that box as they're other. Like they're not a role player. They're not supporting cast. They're not a cheerleader. They're not a coach, not a referee. I'm using these as examples, not verbatim, but they're not none of those things. They're simply other. So, and I don't care about necessarily somebody agreeing with the opinion I have or not, because I feel like sometimes knowing what you are and what shoes you feel in life, or what shoes you have filled or can fill, uh, will also determine and kind of pinpoint, what side of the fence you be on in certain situations. As someone uh, who feels like a lot is riding on you. You got kids, you got family, you got parents, you got siblings, you got cousins, you got a whole bunch of people that's like kind of like a lot of their success, or a lot of their um, good things in life, whether it's being taken care of, something happening to them, just things they can get close to as far as success, or whether it's motivation, I'm saying anything, is so much of it rides on you and the decisions you make. Like I said, I always feel like it's selfish to then make the wrong decisions, or feel like, look, I ain't asked for this. No, a lot of us ain't asked for it, man. Like you just born with it sometimes. Like you don't ask to nobody asks, say, yo, Lord, please, 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 please make me be the guy. Make me be. I mean, maybe somebody might do that. I don't know, but it ain't work. It don't work that way. You don't just ask for it and it come to you. You gotta work for it. Which, like I said, and even knowing that to be in certain positions, whether it be the star player, whether it be the face of something, the brand, being the face. I mean, sorry, being working towards that only tells me that that's what you want. You work towards things you want. Like you work towards that. If if you get fired from your job for not coming to work on time and missing days, no pun intended, you worked towards that. You continually was late. You continuously was not showing up. You worked towards that. If I use this guy as an example. If you uh, worked if you get this big time contract, you work towards that. You stay in the gym, you sacrifice, you got better, what I'm saying? You studied the game, you made all the right moves, made the right plays, your stats, you work towards that big contract. You don't work towards that and then get to say, oh, all right, but I want the money, but I don't want to do all that. Nah, that ain't how it go. You don't get to do that. It's not your choice at that point. At that point, you sign that big contract. You know what choice it is? It's the choice of the people who gave you that money to decide whether you're gonna continue to be the face of the NBA now, or you continue to be in that spotlight at night. You don't get to choose that. I mean, you can choose it by your decisions, but when you got so much riding on you, I just feel like it's kind of disrespectful to. That's just me though. I could be a different breed. I could go on and on about that thing, man. But in much respect to John Morant, it's nothing against him. I seen a lot of he got a lot of flack, but it's social media. You going people going to joke on you. That's just the way it goes, man. I'll read some more comments from here real quick before I move on. It says, he said, actions speak louder than words. Ain't that the saying? I said, yes, it's more actions than his situation though. That's why I said his actions tell me he shouldn't. His actions can also be his stats, interviews, how he plays, etc., all leading to him wanting that face of the NBA. But his actions, which is two incidents, just tell me he shouldn't. Meaning he might not be ready for the be a face of the NBA. So, but he don't get to make a decision. You know, yeah, I actually made that decision. So, you know, I. You gotta watch the deals you sign, man. I said, watch the deals you sign. I also was given. Let me see. I'm reading this post I was sent. And I thought this was actually said beautifully. Hopefully, it's still there. Okay, it says if you can't understand why a superstar NBA player with a $200 million contract, a Nike deal, a face of a franchise, and a Powerade deal can't go around waving a gun like he in the pull up with a stick video, you might be brain dead. Now, these ain't my words. These ain't my words. I don't want to say anybody's brain dead. I don't play that kind of game. And I wouldn't, I'm not going to ridicule or judge somebody's way of thinking um, because they don't agree with something I agree with. But yes, man, NBA player, $200 million contract, Nike deal, face of a franchise, a Powerade deal. These are just five things I just named that he worked towards. He worked towards that. You're not going to tell me in any capacity that he don't want to do these things. Because he could just say, hey, I don't want that deal, man. I'm good. Like, just keep your money, bro. I'm good. I'm good here with my guys in Memphis just skedaddling across the gym. I want to play here and there, but I'm good. I'm chill. I want to go live with my friends and do hood rat things. I don't think that's what he's saying. So that's just my opinion, man. I think that we gotta wrap this up, definitely. Like with the competition piece. Good conversations, don't get me wrong, nonetheless. But I just feel like, people it's selfish. And like I said, I don't want him to get reprimanded, nothing crazy, but I'm gonna end here. As black people, oh, you're gonna add black people card, right? But as black people, I seen people saying, how is JJ Redick having more smart, got more common sense than my own people on my timeline saying this, that, and that. Hey, look, man, shout out JJ Redick. He ain't from my culture. All right, I like JJ Redick a lot. I'm a Duke fan. I love JJ Redick. One of my favorite all-time Duke players. I say that to say this. My stance on somebody like John Morant and people of my culture stance with the same life chances and things of that nature, uh, the views on John Morant is gonna be different than his for different reasons. So when we're upset, when we're like not again, when we are acting like it's a big deal, it's simply because of we look at this person and who we see. Take John Morant out of it. That's his name. Cool. But I might look at him and see my nephew. I might look at him and see somebody else. And now I'm thinking like, okay, he made it. So cool. But it's somebody else that ain't made it yet. And they can't move like how he moving. He already made it. And that's all I'll be saying. I'm not saying that what he did was just this heinous crime and it was just, oh my God, just put the blicky up. No, I don't care. Like whatever. That's on him if he want to do that. But, let's not act like he didn't represent um, something or so many things in our community. And I applaud everybody who had something to say about what he did because it lets me know that people care, man. People care. And I'm not saying if you disagree, you don't care. I'm not saying that because I don't want to look like if you disagree with what I'm saying, or if you disagree that your opinion is invalid. No, yeah, everybody's opinion is valid. My view is just different. I wanted to break my view down And if anybody else had a podcast or wanted to talk or go live or whatever, and they wanted to break their view down, more power to them because we both views can be right. We both could be wrong. This is just my view and how I'm viewing it and how I'm seeing it. And I'm not trying to sway nobody's decision at all. Like I'm not in the business of that, but I strongly believe that he represents something, and we as a community we've taken a liking to him based on what he can do on the court. We just want him to kind of replicate that off the court as well because, like I said, you don't get to sign up for it. You sign your deal. You sign up to be a role model. Nobody's making that amount of money and not being looked at, not being idolized. I don't care whether you're a bad person or a good person. Nobody's making that type of money and not being idolized. That's from the the white collar crimes, the damn scammers, whatever, the drug dealers, whatever. Everybody that makes that kind of money is always idolized. So we just want him to act like it. Um, so yeah. Uh, anyway, next. I recently had the pleasure of being a judge at another poetry slam. So shout out to Shaw Jules, man. Shout out to Shaw Jules, man. Another successful event. Calm down. Chill, 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 chill. Another successful event for Shaw Jules. This was even better than the first time. I'm gonna go ahead and say it off the rip. I did it again with my guy Dorian. It was 4 guests this time, not 3. So shout out to everybody on a guest panel. Uh, a lot of poets this time. I think they said maybe 12, maybe 9 to 12 or something like that. Definitely different this time. Everybody got to go twice. So if you did mess up round 1, you still made the round 2. So I thought that was dope because last time round 1, after that got judged, you got cut off, and then round 2 cut off, and then it's a tie, sudden death, and then you go from there. Um, Before I do that, let me change my hat out real quick. All right. Let me change my hat out real. My headphones back on. Knew something was up. All right, change my hat out real quick. So shout out to Most Elevated. This is her hat. She was selling them at the event. I went and supported. I'm a big supporter, so I had to go support. And also, she won the the last poetry slam. Anyway, so shout out to her. Super. And I did a thing out loud about that last time, and she was amazing, bro. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So to watch her judge was dope this time. I ain't gonna spend too much time on it, but I do want to talk on it a little bit. That's what I'll say, man. You think you know everybody in the city. You think you know everybody in your area, just in 20, 60 mile radius, and you realize very quickly you don't, man. It was some immensely, and I always say immensely when I mean very, really, 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 really talented. I mean, round 1, I was so happy that we didn't have to judge round 1 and knock people out because round 2 was so jam packed that I feel like it made it extremely hard for us to judge. It's just my opinion. I don't know. Other judges might feel differently, but I'm not saying this to pick up the event. It was a great event, but in all seriousness, it was a couple of I don't know if I'd say poets or spoken word artists. I'm not sure, but I'll say artists. A couple of artists who I felt like, damn, like the hell are you doing here? Like, why are you not on my TV screen? Like, it was somebody, and if you watch my snap, I got some footage of some people on there, and I feel like they did a great, great, great job. I had an amazing time there, and I was up all day. I was tired, but it felt like a championship game. Like the competitiveness was crazy. This is what I'll say though about that. And I don't know if Sly want me to talk in too much detail about the judging portion of things, but we got a rubric of how we judge. So it's not like I can just give somebody a 10 because I felt like, yo, that was a 10 performance. You gotta it's certain things you gotta stick to the top. You getting judged based off how on topic are you for this round. This round may be about, you know, social injustice, but you might be talking about your grandma. Amazing poem, amazing words, amazing performance. But I can't give you the highest number for that particular category because that ain't what this round about. I'm not saying that anybody had that. I'm just kind of giving you as a from a guest perspective. I mean, from a judge perspective, what I'm looking at. Um, stumbling, reading off paper, your body language. Do you have to use the mic? Do you not have to use the mic? It's a lot of things that go on and that we're looking at in that rubric that have to take into play when we doing these when we judging these artists. And that was tough. What's tougher is, see, I'm not an artist. I'm not an artist. But two out of the four, I don't know every judge, but two out of the four are artists that I know of. You know, you got most elevated, and then you also have Dorian. You know what I'm saying? The art dealer. So we all judging differently. Something that I might feel like is a perfect 10, my man over here might be like, that's an 8.5. You know, or girl, she might be like, not really wild, 7.0. And honestly, I don't know how they judge. They have to speak to themselves, but these are also artists who are out and about. Maybe they seen this artist perform that better somewhere else or better another day. So that might also be a reason why you don't get a 10. I've seen perform that better. Not sure that's a rubric. I'm just telling you, my thoughts and theories. But, as a judge, I find myself sometimes in a hard place because the way I judge, I think that I get wild easily because this is how I judge too. I feel like if you go and I'm like, oh, that's great, I should give you a 10. And then the next person go and they like way better than the person before that, I'm always at a standstill like, damn, is that also a 10? Like, is that really a perfect 10? Because he was kind of like 5 times better than that guy, but that guy wowed me as well. So I'll be torn. I ain't gonna lie, I'll be torn. But nonetheless, I will say this. I'm gonna give my own thoughts and views, my thinking aloud, right? So shout out to Sai once again. Amazing event, super, super dope event. Uh I thought that round two, um, I was cool with the 2 rounds being like everybody getting to go, but I do think that we are going to have to not we. I do think that for that particular event, it'd have been easier to do round one than round two. And I only say that because we added up 2 rounds and somebody that was like super low and around one, at least they got just to go. So I kind of get it. I can't. Yeah. So I did an amazing job. I don't know. That's why I can't be in that world of the whole creating and trying to throw events type thing. It ain't my thing. I've been done trying to appease everybody. So once again, major shout out to Shaw Jules because I know she tried to make up for any any misses that she might have felt she had in her last poetry slam. So I can honestly say that the adjustments she made were for the better. For word for the better for the artist, and that's what mattered. It was for the better for the artist, and I think that's what mattered the most because as a judge, I'm cool. Well, however it is, I'm a judge regardless. But as an artist, I do think the way she did this time, it gave you more lenient no, I'm sorry, more room for error, but also more exposure as well. So if you messed up round one, cool. You may not win because it was people that didn't mess up at all. Not round one, not round two, not sudden death, not the last round. And hell, they probably somewhere reciting something right now and not messing up. So there's some artists that just didn't mess up at all. But I like what she did as far as creating uh artist I don't know, but it's a plus for the artist because you mess up round one, cool. You can go hard round two. Whereas, like I said, your points across the board may not be a great score. However, you got to go twice. You got to see what you messed up on, what you messed up at, and you can feel better about yourself even if you didn't win because you know, okay, cool. I messed up round one. That's why I didn't win. Cool. As opposed to you mess up round one, we score you low. Now you out. No more chances. We don't see you again. All we know is you are such and such, and you messed up the first round. Beat it. So I did like I like the adjustment she made for that. I wish she would throw more poetry slams, but I get it. It's a lot to go behind that. It's a lot of planning, and I think if it's like last time, so I would say the first poetry slam I judged, to me the experience was like a 9.5, and I only can say that now because I've experienced this one, and I think that's a 10. Like it was amazing. Like it was it was a few artists. I'm just pull the names up. It was a few artists. It was so hard to judge, and I felt so bad because it's only but so many points we can give somebody, man. And those performances was crazy, man. Let me pull up my name real quick. Hell, all right, cool. So a few people well, one person I had on here. So you had oh yeah, Moses was amazing. Moses was amazing. When the Storm was amazing. Bailey, oh, Big Bailey. Shout out to Big Bailey, man. He was amazing, man. He was amazing. Definitely. He was great. He was real great. Uh um Jaquan was great. I thought he was pretty dope. He didn't, do well in the first round, but the second round he picked it up. Um Pretty Gifted was really dope. And I had her on my when I'm trying to put the spoken word pieces out. She came on into the piece. Shout out to her. She changed the name. She did great. I thought that she did to me, she did she did better in the second. She had started singing. She had started singing and started a poem up, and I thought that set the tone. And I don't know. Like I said, maybe the judges didn't feel how I feel. I don't want to put too much out there because I think that's kind of like throwing people under the bus. But that's one thing you notice when you're judging an event like that is everybody go back to my original statement from the beginning. Everybody on a different side of the fence, based on the performance. What hit me and what's touching me and what I'm seeing isn't what my peers are probably seeing, and vice versa. Um, so that's the dopest thing, but also like one of them things where like even as the judge, you're like, you gave him that much, or you gave him that low. So you kind of gauge like what you're doing, but I think it makes for more competitiveness. It makes for more variety, and there's no oh, we gonna pick this person, and the person that won, I never seen him a day in my life. He spit a lot, but he was dope. um my personal my personal pick to win, just based off the final round, of course. um he was amazing, but I realized it was biased. I think he's from Jersey, so it might have been biased just because he's from Jersey. But I liked his content. I liked his. I thought he had the best stage presence of everybody that in that whole slam. But I think that Moses Oldtree, I believe his name is. I think that he just projected his voice the best. He was the most poised. You know, yeah, the most poised. But yeah, man, dope individuals, dope people, man, dope all across the board. Look, shout out to everybody once again. I'm sorry for the wait. Nothing out loud. Shout out to Slim. Don't volunteer the cap. I'm always repping the brand. Shout out to most elevated deepness. Sorry, most elevated deepness for the hat. Shout out to her. Dope, amazing individual. I actually want her on my podcast too, so I might tag you in this. I don't know if I can tag you or not, but most elevated deepness. She won the first poetry slam. Amazing. God, she killed it. Dope individual. Love the hat, love the brand. I want you to come on. I want to talk to you. I want to tell your story. I want you to spit a little piece for them, and want to just I want to push everybody forward, man. So if you got some greatness, hit me up. Hit me up in my inbox. After the show, a couple people reached out to me, hit me up, asking about getting coming on the podcast. I love arts, I wouldn't. I want to put the city on for whatever is positive and whatever we killing it right now. And I think arts is one of the things that Augusta has in the chokehold right now. So I would be remiss not to want to shed light on that. So shout out to everybody in the arts world. Shout out to everybody in the sports world. Shout out to John Morant. Shout out to everybody who you know. Let me end with this. Let me end with this. Social media is a funny place, man. It's a funny place because I think a lot of times we say we not taking it personal, but then we take it personal. Like the minute somebody don't agree with you, the first thing somebody does is that you go and make a status. And it may not be personal, but it comes off as if, okay, so because you like what I said, now you want to say something, and people you normally tearing down. Like social media is fun like that. You normally tearing down. We ain't gotta tear people down, man. Like we just gotta, you'd be like if I even go back and forth with you on social media. Most times, if I'm busy, I ain't going back and forth with nobody. Um, but that's just me. I know people like to debate. They want to win debate. They want to argue. People are very argumentative. Oh my god, it gets crazy. Social media is a crazy place, man. I love it nonetheless, but it's a crazy place. I seen somebody said the other day, man, I gotta stop kissing ass, and man, I agree. I agree. I don't know what that was actually about, but I agree. You see a lot on social media, people kiss ass. They uh they act like that's their view for whatever. I guess a pick me or just conversation. I'm not sure. Uh, man, social media is fun. You gotta make sure. You gotta make sure your opinions and your thoughts and your views are all in alignment with each other and they're consistent. That's all I would say. Make sure they're consistent. But you got your few people on social media that you just know for a fact that you know what I want to read that because you got people on social media, right? That just love to argue with you. Like they just gonna argue all the time. They're not gonna agree with nothing you saying. They gotta write a book. They trying to bait you. Won't get me. Trust me. I want to read this one. I read it earlier, but I want to read it now. Damn, come on. Yeah. So I wrote something about John Morant, and then this woman I know, she says, some folks know they have a lot at stake and feel like it's not worth changing or being fake. I said, I don't know if that's his story, but if it is, that's selfish. But it's his life at the same time, which the best for all parties involved. Like the comment, kept moving. Bro, imagine that somebody disagreeing with you, or it's not that you're arguing. You feel one way, they see a different way, or they shed light on a different way to look at it. You comment and you stand in your square, or you feel like you doubling down or whatever. You comment. That person likes the comment and doesn't argue with you. Tell me about it. Like that's amazing. That don't happen too often, man. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. But yeah, man. Morning Master Podcast. We out, man.